So, you've got Mamelodi Sundowns, the informed team within the country, playing beautiful football, scoring a lot of goals and keeping clean sheets for fun. And then, on the other hand, you've got Cape Town City, a side that is very exciting, but at times they do lack that defensive stability. Ladies and gentlemen, it is MTN 8 Wafa Wafa Final. And on today's episode, I'm going to do a tactical pre-match analysis of that encounter. My name is Luyolo, and if you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. So, MTN 8 final, Mamelodi Sundowns versus Cape Town City. So, when we have a look at it then, the red team will be represented by Mamelodi Sundowns, and then the blue team will represent Cape Town City. So, when we have a look at Mamelodi Sundowns then, as they are the finest team in the land. So, Mamelodi Sundowns do line up with a 4-3-3 system. However, it is quite the tactically versatile one and tends to be a hybrid of a 3-4-3 system. Whenever Rivaldo Coetzee does drop in deep in between the two centre halves to institute that deep playmaking role. But let's have a look at it then as to who do they line up with going into this final. So in goals, you will have Onyango in goals. And then as the right-sided centre-back, I would like to think that they'll go with Grant Kekane by virtue of the fact that he has been so solid and he's been their most consistent centre-back, you know, and I think he's been doing really, really well. And I just don't think that it would be fair to drop him for any other centre-back within the team as he's doing very, very well. And then as the left-sided centre-back, if Rushin Duruk is fully fit, I think Rushin Duruk should start there. There hasn't really been any word on his fitness, but if he isn't fit, then you'll most likely have Lebusa. But I would like for Rushin Duruk to be fully fit, as from a qualitative perspective, I would like to see a great final with both teams having their strongest 11. So Rushin Duruk there, and then you'd have Rivaldo Coetzee, and then as the left wing back, you'd have Laila K. As the right wing back, you'd have Mudau. So I did touch on Rivaldo Coetzee, and the beauty about Rivaldo Coetzee is that whenever he does drop in deep for this Mamelodi Sundowns side, he enables them to build up very, very smoothly, and it's always a seamless transition from build-up phase into consolidation phase by virtue of the fact that he's so comfortable on the ball and he's got a great range of pass on him. And what I love then about Rivaldo Coetzee is that he keeps it very simple and he's Mr. Two-Touch to a certain degree. And then when we have a look at Laila K has been arguably one of the best, if not the best left-sided player within South Africa and within the DStv Premiership by virtue of the fact that he's performed so well, he's kept clean sheets, he's had the assist, and he scored the goals as well. And he's also been in very, very fine form. And what I love then about Laila K is his ability then to break into the final third, penetrate and deliver a quality ball. And whenever he does find himself in deeper pockets of spaces, he's also then able to play a lovely deep cross that is then able then to find his forward line players very, very comfortable on the ball. But the most fantastic thing about this wonderful player is his ability in the set pieces. Wonderful. If you're talking about a corner, he gives you a chance of scoring from corners. You're talking about a free kick from a deep pocket of space, he gives you a chance. But when you now talk about free kicks, which are just outside the box, from a qualitative perspective, I think he's the best free kick taker in South Africa at this present moment. You know, this is a player who affords you that, because then when you go into a final, finals tend to be very, very tight at times. And sometimes it is that one set piece which wins you the final. Laila K has that in his locker. quality fullback. And then when we have a look at the right wing back, you've got Mudau. Mudau has been doing very well within this position. I think he's growing, and he's going to get to a point where he is then able to command the right back position and make it his very own because of how consistent he's been and how well he's performing. And what I love about him then is that he's defensively, he's very, very solid. There's not too many players who are able to beat him 1v1, has lots of energy, and is a very, very speedy wing back. And then moving in then into the heart of midfield, you've got Jali, and then you've got Zwane, presuming that he does start within the midfield, where he will look then to create for a front three, as opposed to him starting a part and parcel of a front three. I just think that he's much better suited when he starts from deeper within consolidation phase, and then he looks to penetrate into the final third, where he's then looking to create for those three players up front. And what I love then about this midfield three is that they tick so many boxes when it comes to midfield personality. So in Rivaldo Coetzee, you've got the passer. In Jali, you've got the energizer, the player then who's able to go box to box. He's able to read the game very well. He can institute the high press. He does get stuck in. He can come deep to collect the ball and assume the role where he has to advance the ball further up. And then in Zwane, you've got the playmaker. So three quality players within the heart of midfield that then address the three different phases of play. You've got build-up phase, you've got consolidation, and then you've got the final third. Rivaldo Coetzee basically owns build-up phase. Jali owns consolidation phase, and then you've got Zwane, who starts in consolidation phase, looks to break into the final third. That's the phase that he owns. So already then, from a qualitative perspective, within the heart of midfield, Sundowns tick all the boxes. And then when we have a look at the front three, you do have Shalile up top, you've got Kutumela, who's been doing very well, and you've got Sereno. So just to note at home, ladies and gentlemen, this team is absolutely phenomenal because they don't just play beautiful football, but they've got strength and depth. So many players can actually come in and make a difference. Up front, you could have a Rasmus, you could have a Mayema, you could have Safranco. Within the heart of midfield, you could have Hashim Domingo. You know, so many options. There's Vilagazi, who's been doing well as of late. So they've got so many options, this Mamelodi Sundowns side. However, the 11 that I've just gone through, I think is the 11 that should be the ones that will start this game. And when we then have a look at the key player, we're having a look then at Themba Zwane, a player then who is very instrumental at dictating play for this Mamelodi Sundowns side and assuming that playmaker role, where he pops up into the left-sided half space, he pops up into the right-sided half space, he pops up in vertical zone 3, deep ways, looking then to pull those strings, and very penetrative when it comes to the final third, as he also has an eye for goal as well. This is a quality playmaker. In my own opinion, I think he's the best footballer within the country and the most complete when it comes then to what he has to do with regards to his role. And what I love about Themba Zwane then is that when it comes to how Sundowns love to institute their play, Sundowns are a team that in the final third, they love to institute the extra pass. So what is the extra pass? So the extra pass then is a pass that is normally instituted within a danger zone. So a danger zone is either zone 14, which is that area, or the box. So how then an extra pass is normally crafted is that a player within the box would be on the ball. He'd have a chance at goal himself, but he would drag he'd drag a couple of defenders, and so much attention would be on him. And instead of taking the shot by himself, what he then does is he picks out another player within the box who's free, and another player within the box who's free might have a lot more space than he would have a lot more space. That is then the purpose of the extra pass, to drag defenders, have the attention on you, which then sees you having about maybe 10 to 20% chance of scoring the goal. Then play that extra pass within the danger zone, which then exponentially increases your chances of scoring the goal. You go from 10% to about 40 to 50% when it comes then to being able to score that goal. So this is what Mamelodi Sundowns do very well. Coach Rulani emphasizes the extra pass within the danger zones, and a player who's well adept at this from a Mamelodi Sundowns perspective is Themba Zwane, both at instituting and creating that extra pass and being on the receiving end of that extra pass to score a beautiful goal. That is Mamelodi Sundowns then. Let's have a look then at Cape Town City with regards to how they look to go about things on the day. So Cape Town City are tactically versatile team because they are a team that at times they can institute a back three, at times they can go with the back four, but they most likely will go with the back four. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go with the back three in a bid to try and nullify Mamelodi Sundowns, especially when it comes to Central Zone 3, overload, and the two half spaces. So with regards to Cape Town City then, in goals, we've got Marquez, who continues in goals. And then at right back, you've got Themba Zwane, the captain. Two centre backs, you've got Fasika and Phillies, and then you've got Mashego. However, if Mubara is fully fit, I'd like to think that he starts in the right-sided centre-back position, as I think he's better suited at becoming a partner for Phillies as opposed to Fasika. I do think that Fasika is a very, very good player, very solid and very comfortable on the ball. However, I just feel that he's not as well refined technically as a Mubara. And I think that Fasika could actually be a trigger for this Mamelodi Sundowns side, because as much as he's comfortable on the ball, at times it looks a bit sloppy because he just manages to get that extra touch and just gets away. Whereas you can see that if a team institutes a high press in an adequate manner, they could actually catch Fasika out, you know. And another thing then to mention about this back line of Cape Town City, they've had a poor record with regards to clean sheets. They haven't been doing well from a defensive perspective. They would start very well within the half or within the game, but they would struggle then to hold on to that clean sheet. And when we have then a look at this Cape Town City defense, what they're very good at then when they're on the ball is how they build up and how they offer so many options on the ball, and they always then able to find that pass into consolidation phase, into feet. And then who are they looking for into feet in the heart of midfield? Well, you've got Mukeke, who would often come deep and assume that role where he's tasked to then progress the ball from build-up phase and then work it and progress it into consolidation phase. He's also got a great range of pass as he can find those diagonals for this Cape Town City side. Alongside him, then, you've got Nodata, who plays as an 8. And then you'd have Mduduzi Mdantsane, who then plays as a 10. But the versatility that comes with Mdantsane is that he can always drop into the heart of midfield. And Cape Town City then can institute a 4-3-3 with two number 8s. And I think for large parts of the game, that's what's actually going to happen. By virtue of the fact that Sundowns become very, very aggressive within the opposition half, it goes to somewhat of a 3-6-1. However, back to Cape Town City, as I will touch on that a bit later. And then with the front three, you've got Martins, you've got Lila K, and then you've got Ralani. But I would mention that they could then look to maybe start with the Morris as a target man, have Lila K come off the right, and then have Ralani off the left, and maybe look to go about it that way. But most likely you will have Lila K for the mobility that he offers, Martins as well, and Ralani for the speed, especially coming up against the Mamelodi Sundowns side that will have the lion's share of possession. But a key player then for this Cape Town City side will be Mduduzi Mdantsane on both sides of the coin, from a defensive perspective and an offensive perspective. Offensively, when it comes to occupying the two half spaces, and when it comes to then penetrating into the final third, because he does have an eye for goal and he is a goal-scoring midfielder. Very important from that perspective. And then without the ball, how does he work against the ball? So against the ball then, very important that he's able to drop in and assist a Mukeke and Nodata within the heart of midfield whenever Sundowns do look to have a numerical advantage. So how Sundowns then would look to go about instituting that aggressive nature and aggressive formation and shape within the opposition half is that they'd overload the 2 half spaces. That's the overload. And then they'd still manage to keep the width with the 2 wing backs. You'd have Rivaldo Coetzee there, and then you'd have the 2 center halves in there. So this is what you see from Mamelodi Sundowns a lot of the time. The numerical advantage instituted in the heart of midfield, where they're able then to rotate the ball, penetrate the 2 half spaces, and penetrate through vertical zone 3, and look then to create those chances and finish off those goals. However, this could also then bid very well for Cape Town City. Why? Because they've got Martins, they've got Fachileke and Ralani, who are very, very quick and could look to catch Mamelodi Sundowns on the counter. So that is then Mamelodi Sundowns in possession and what they look to do and how aggressive they become in the opposition half. And then Cape Town City with regards to the shape that they will have to take up. And I just think from a midfield perspective, how this game plays out is that it's a battle which, if won very early on in the heart of midfield, then it sort of secures you the game. Because I just think that when you have a look at Cape Town City's midfield 3 in Mukeke, Notata and Mdantsane, they tick all the boxes for the midfield personalities. When you have a look at Sundowns midfield 3 in Jali, Zwane and Rivaldo Coetzee, they also tick all the midfield personality boxes. So very, very interesting encounter then when we have a look at those 6 players who are such high quality players. However, if I then have to give a prediction, I think Mamelodi Sundowns will win the MTN 8, the trophy that has eluded their trophy cabinet over the years, and I don't foresee Cape Town City winning their 2nd MTN 8 final. So thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. It is MTN 8 Wafa Wafa. Signing out.